Well, I'm alive. I'm still alive, and probably I could say pretty good, good enough. Having coffee, looking for my remote. I always got to dig around, but that's just part of life. It's just part of my life. Today I look a little bit of a shambles, but I just didn't want to fuss with nothing. Fuss, however you want to say that. Oh, look at that. That could just stay behind my ear. Oh, I don't like. I'm not a hair behind the ear person, and my clip didn't want to hold this, so whatever. That's just part of life. Anyway, it's good to be here. I was out sick for a while. Actually, this is really bugging me. Then it's just coming out because I just, you know, symmetry. I'm a symmetry freak, and whatever, you know. I went through, and now I have a cord issue. And I mean, I have such a thing with cords going on in my life. You just won't believe it. Cords. I don't know what's worse in life, cords or gravity. Well, I'm otter with streaming freedom. Ooh. And I'm pregnant. It's what I do. I do a lot of prepping. But I just chopped a bunch of my hair off because a lot of my hair fell off of my head for some crazy reason. Now I got really sick, and on my last podcast, I was telling about that. Oh, something. I bet I need to plug this in. It's my speaker, and what kind of a plug does it need? That's always the other thing. What kind of plug do you gotta have? Well, what do you have handy? Because the whole other thing, and this one is the wrong one. Now I'm on a plug search. But clearly, I need a good stretch out. But it's early where I am. I mean, not super early anymore, but I gotta. Whatever. Oh, this is annoying. Because if I'm out of power with this speaker, well, it's just on, but it's flashing orange. I gotta get a plug. I need a plug, Todd. Elder, elder. What are we gonna do? I know this one works, but I don't know what to plug into. Oh my god. Wasn't plugged into nothing. Well, that was a funny trick. The plug I needed was plugged into my phone, and it was. Well, it says, well, then that's fine. Well, my phone's good, but it must have unplugged some weird way all by itself. Just look at a hard pull down there. Oh, but chat happens. I don't even want to. I just want to get this plugged in. The speaker. Oh, thank God, it's just casual. Always, old lady Monday. It's just old lady Monday. The hair out of my elbows. My elbows. So, where are we at? I got my coffee. I got file papers here. I gotta go through. I had another thing I wanted to do before I jumped into this, but it doesn't really matter. And when I try to have this down here like this, I'm always flapping it. So, you know, you'd have to have, ultimately, if I want the best of the best, in all the realm with speaker stuff. I Well, not really, because then it would be in front of there, and now it's already in front of here, and what? So, Lou, sorry. No, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful today. I don't have speck of makeup. Well, okay, I wear a colored lotion because it just blends everything in. And if anybody needs everything just blended in, it's me, myself, and I at this age because that's just what works best. But I found now recently something I really like is this NYX Buttermelt Bronzer. Ugh. I mix it with my lotion and my favorite lotion. Well, everybody's got to have their own favorite lotion. I feel like I got to keep one thing secret to myself. All my tutor knows, my sister knows, but yeah, man, I would tell. If you ask me, I'll tell you what lotion I use. But I'm not. I'm just over the makeup thing. Well, I sure don't want to do it today. I still feel a little tired. You people don't know what I went through. Oh my God. Well, I'm going to tell you because we don't keep secrets here. We're transparent. And so what ended up happening was a mess up with one of the medications that I take that I'm on. And, and I've been on it for a while. And I was working with my pharmacy saying I needed it. It was due. And they screwed up. I'm just going to say it. They screwed up. In always. Unless, you got gobs of money or clout or something, some kind of professional that, people just really get more worried about in this day and age. You're really just wasting your breath trying to, even if you got all the proof nowadays, it just seems like, the burden of proof don't even matter. Decide what it's doing. I need to, I'm to the point now where I've decided, well, I would at least like to try one of those blowout dryers. They're round and they have heat come out because I'm working on letting my bangs grow. Back to the issue. Okay, so there, I went through. I thought I was getting the flu. Well, I had been having some allergy crap, but in the meantime, I was still taking care of myself. I was still dealing with life on life's terms, and somebody dropped the ball at the pharmacy, and then everything just happened so quick, and then I spiraled, and I just, and it was bad, man. Withdrawal, whew. I'm glad I never ended up being like a quote unquote royal junkie, dope fiend of any sort or type or because that was now though I can understand why they fiend as bad as they do. But I mean, I didn't even fiend because I didn't even know what was going on. I thought I had some of the crappiest flu bug you could possibly catch on the face of the earth. It was like worse than COVID, except I didn't have nothing in my chest and nothing in my, it was not a mucus type involvement. That didn't even set right, but there was just not a mucus issue. There was a lot of other issues, but one of them was, hair loss. I started losing hair. I've lost, from that ordeal, I lost quite a bit of hair. Now, ordinarily, I would have gotten really bent out of shape over that deal because I dig my hair, It's one of my fun things in life. And, but I don't put that much importance on things, including hair. I mean, you just can only care so much about stuff. And I consider hair to be, part of stuff. It's just stuff. I mean, it grows off my head. It's like we were programmed, and that was what I wanted this to get talked on anyway, was the programming. All of this vanity shit that we get hooked up on in our heads. And really anything along the lines of vanity. I'm just about done with this massager. I'm done because I told you, who knows? Luke could tell you what this massager does to me. It makes me tired. I can't stay on point, but it just feels so darn good. It's hard to turn it off, even though I get on here. Well, now you know that part of the story. So, nonetheless, I got really sick. All these different things happened. It took 2 weeks out of my life, just chunk, and then now I'm just really starting to still come back to the life that I was experiencing prior to, which wasn't too bad. It wasn't too shabby. I just, it just was really, it was more sad to me than anything. Well, I did get angry. I did get angry. You do go through the whole steps of grief. And then, well, especially when I found out what the deal really was. And then, like, I spiraled so fast that I couldn't even remember to call these people again anymore. I had tried so hard for so long. And it wasn't like, oh, I got mad. I ain't calling them no more, assholes. No, it was like, I just totally didn't remember that it was an issue by the time I realized it was. Because I did hit that point in time when I realized, oh my God, that's what's been going on. And I figured it out because I do the Monday through Sunday medication, vitamin, and supplement packs, Monday through Sunday. And I fill them, at whatever point in time, they would say Monday through Sunday. I don't go Monday through Sunday. I fill and go along as I do, because it doesn't really matter if it's specifically Monday or not or whatever. If that helps some people to, it would probably help me if I did do it on an actual Monday through Sunday basis. I'd probably have a better time at remembering what day it is. But I got the calendar right there too that I look at. So that's not everything either about anything. Well, important case is in and alike and along the same lines of another thing that I went through. This was quite a while ago, but it's kind of the same sort of thing where in which, oh, it just, and I still stress about it because, that's once anything gets out on the into cyberspace, it's just always there. Well, until it's not. But nonetheless, once I'm gone, I'm not going to give two shits. But I did actually get into thinking about that. Yeah, that kind of information, I was thinking that, anybody could have access to. Well, I don't know. I let it start to get to me. And I thought, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not letting that get to me. You can talk yourself down from things. Like, I don't know. I think I used to sometimes I believed that I had to get permission to kind of talk myself down from different things, people, places, things, situations that, got to me. But then, I don't know, somewhere along the line, I realized I didn't have to do that. And here these glasses are right in front of my face. And I wanted to see about, I want to get a pair of glasses. Oh, these are really funky. Check these out. Hmm. These aren't computer glasses, though. Or I would probably wear them today. They're probably not too bad, huh? Oh, they're goofy. I don't feel like I have the right head for round. I like them more like these, rectangle. For my face shape frame, whatever. More vanity chasing the wind. Well, so I tell you, just getting up and putting my colored lotion on my face just to blend, it really makes me feel good enough about how I present on here. I'm not a professional, and everything I say is just it's born out of my experiences, my attitude, my attitude as well, and my opinions. And I like that because I don't have to do much to any research at all. It really makes life a lot more simple. Ooh, I think I need some more coffee pretty soon. I don't know if nope, rhubarb, and this desk I got everything on is so wobbly. But the point is okay, so I went to this counselor one time, quite a while ago, and it was a serious deal. Maybe I should have done more research on who I was getting involved with this personal house cleaning that I was going to do in counseling. I thought, I always liked the concept that I once learned about, heard about, whatever, along the lines of doing these inside jobs on um, examining what the inventory sort of thing is in and with myself. You know how's my thinking going? How is my responding going, which is still my thinking, but you do get emotions involved with that. So in your emotions and your it's taking stock in with your inventory of yourself, only yourself, not others. So in any case, some people do it regularly, some don't. I do spot checks most of the time now, but this particular time it was a real dig down deep. I mean, I went even back to a long time ago, spaces and places of my life, just to make sure. I just really wanted to do a good house cleaning. I don't know. Well, and I went to this female that she was, I would have guessed her to be 45, not that that matters, but you just automatically would think somebody really new, a super newbie person would have made this kind of mistake moreover than someone seemingly more seasoned. But nowadays people start at all different kinds of ages, and age really isn't a matter. And but it still can be. I think with certain professions. Well, she went ahead and and it was totally in the non disclosure thing we did before we even started the session. I said, well, absolutely not. I do not want this shared with anyone. I mean, I don't even want any of it recorded or nothing like that. I mean, I just don't even know. I don't know if she recorded it or if I don't know how it worked. But they got cameras in their offices too, and so on and so forth. So it was just I felt like it was just all very well and like a job done, sealed, and oh, I don't even know how to say it. Just sealed and dealed with the job that I did. I felt good about what I did, and then the next day or two, I had to go into my annual physical, and then the regular receptionist was sitting there at the desk, and she asked me right away, "Did you want all them notes to come from your counselor?" Oh, I was just like, "Oh, here we go." I just freaking knew it. I just freaking, oh my god, that's. I just said no. No, I did not. Oh my god, it was just like my blood drained in my feet because it was like that was a lot of freaking work for one thing. I mean, you know what I mean? And then it's like it's such private information. And it really is true though. I mean, and this was quite some time ago already, but we were well into the scattering of people's information age. It takes a lot to tell this one. It's this one just. Mhm. Well, then to make it long and short, I said no, no, no. She's like, okay, I'll delete it all. We'll get rid of it. Like, oh Jesus, she read or heard or whatever everything because she was just like, oh. And it's not like, geez, it wasn't like I had clutched someone or something really bad along those lines. That's one of my new words is clutched. It has a few different meanings, but I think, if you're smart enough, you'll understand what that means to me. I guess it would be akin to what people used to say, but I don't really like throwing it around that way anymore. Ride or die, ride or die. All in well, yeah, in and by large, all encompassing, I suppose, with whatever your content or subject is with anything or any content. It's it's something I heard one time just recently myself, and I thought I'm gonna adopt that term. That sounds good. And then whatever. And another one I'm struggling with is because, oh, and I just hate it so bad because it's something that I've said for so long is, oh, I don't know. It has something with, well, when you say something like, oh, whoopie dang, or, well, anyway, I haven't said whoopie dang forever in a day in my life. I just can't think of the other one now that I wanted to share, but nonetheless, I digress. I don't even want to go there anyway. I'm already too frazzled just by telling you the other thing. But, you know, I knew darn well, and particularly at that point in time in my life, I was in absolutely no position, as probably I have been all my life, to really take on headlong, you know, like some people will sue other people because of something like that. Well, that's such a crappy word. I mean, they will seek compensation for whatever type of loss, and that can be loss of most certainly and definitely very private information that should not have gone out anywhere. Well, so on and so forth. And but again, what are you going to do? And I'm still pissed about that. Oh God, it's like counseling. I just and on that level ever anymore and ever again. Oh Lord, hell no. I should have just said, uh, oh, heck no. I don't know. There's no reason I had to say, we try to keep this kid friendly. Well, my youngest grandkids are well into their teens, and this they've watched on television or movies or streamed or whatever is far beyond, I'm sure, anything that I can even personally imagine myself. So it's like, get over it. But you gotta abide by guidelines too, though, like with something like this, tubing or casting. Oh, I got a fruit bug. Oh, no heck. Well, nowadays, and you open your windows, I got it. Oh, they are so hard to catch. If if any, fruit bugs. That was really, usually when I spot one, and it's usually like right in front of my eyeballs, and it's just going in. Oh Lord, I'm having mercy. But anyway, so eventually I get them. But boy, once they know they're you're after them, then that's when it's on. That's when it's really on. Clearly, they can't be that stupid. Well, I don't think anything is entirely if it has to do with its survival. Organisms want to live. So, whatever that, I mean, that's not what I want to talk about either. So, and now I got to lift myself out of this doldrum because I was just such crappy stuff to have to share about. I did it only and because I wanted to do it because I wanted to tell a lot of you people out there who are like me, who are just more about peace, simplicity. Yes, sometimes I get my feelings hurt, or I'm still human, and especially with certain family members, I feel like I can be a little, I don't know. I don't know if it's necessarily overly sensitive with or not either, because it's clearly, my feelings count and they matter. And I know for a fact I'm not always the problem. I'm just more the type that I like to lay shit out on the line. Why not? Get it out there, talk about it, air that dirty laundry, wash it, get it done, dry it, hang it up, and then put everything away and start over and forget about it all. Some things are easier to do that way than others. But I I can totally understand why some people who I think in particular, this is my opinion, who would struggle with taking self inventories, personal examines, personal examining their life, the why, the who, what, where, whys of it all, the nuts and bolts of, you know. So it's pretty down to the line, no facades, no. I'm not trying to get clicks. I'm not trying to anything. I'm having coffee. I'm just talking to anyone who listens. And what I'm just trying to say is that a lot of things, they're really not worth your time. They're really not worth your time to go after, per se, to bring to justice. You know, to me, I really believe that that kind of justice, courtroom justice, really belongs to those that got a lot more than I do, and not just money wise either, but um, the emotional bandwidth. I'll say that's something else I heard too on, the two one time or long. It was a while ago. I think that got used for a while. That was kind of a, oh, I still hear it now and then. The emotional bandwidth. Because I don't know. And it doesn't matter why. But everybody has a certain amount of emotional bandwidth. If you can wrap your brain around that. Um, what did I used to call it too? Something about, or it was a word I made up with stress, in connection with stressability. You know, some people have a higher tolerance for, they got greater stressability. Certainly, and but that's not everything. Anyhow, I mean, it just depends. If you realize you don't have a crap ton of it, though, you gotta pick your battles wisely. And that took a while for me to look at. I can't get over here. That took me a while to figure out as well. Because by the time I learned that by the time any one little bit of it sunk into my noggin that I had rights, it's almost better. I think I did better in life, albeit no. I'm exaggerating. I don't know, but it doesn't really matter. No, it doesn't even matter. But having rights in this world too is just a whole nother thing. But I've drug on long enough. 33 minutes. Kind of boring, kind of out there. I'm still a little spaced out from what I went through. Have mercy. It wasn't, but going through that, I feel like, dang, you know, whatever. That's more for a conversation with my sister. She'll, we have the convos, I tell you, but it's nice. It is really nice. I always knew at some point in time her and I were going to get closer, even though we lived in different, further away places from each other than what you get accustomed to when you live in more small town type area places, and you have uh, it's really actually what it is my accessing is pretty slow today yet, so I gotta end it there. But you just really had the convenience of everybody being a lot closer around to you. So going and visiting anyone or doing something with anyone was just really a lot simpler. So now we have technology. Well, we yak on the phone. Sometimes we FaceTime a little bit, but we're not too big in that. Well, that's all I got for today. That's all I got to say. Yeah. Peace. Mwah. Later. And